There are various options available to connect to an SAP system. The SAP GUI is a conventional method of connecting to an SAP system. The SAP GUI is usually installed on the local work center and forms the graphical interface that is composed of the SAP Easy Access screen, standard toolbar, and so on. The standard menu can be replaced by row-based menu. Unlike the standard menu, the row-based menu directly displays the transactions that users require for their daily work, provided they have the required authorizations. Another option for connecting to an SAP system is through a portal. Portals are HTML-based and allow access to almost any system, also non-SAP systems, through the intranet or internet. NetWeaver Business Client, NWBC, combines the advantages of the SAP GUI, primarily speed through local installation, and the portal, simplified processing even for non-specialists. The SAP Graphical User Interface, SAP GUI, is the general front-end program used to access SAP systems. Several variants of the SAP GUI are available and are adapted for use in different environments. The SAP GUI program connects the front-end computer with a specific SAP system. To start the SAP GUI, SAP provides another program which is the SAP Logon. When the user launches the SAP Logon, a window displays a list of available SAP systems. This list is derived from a file on the front-end computer and is usually pre-configured and made available to users. There are a number of different versions of SAP. Depending on the version your company has implemented, your SAP screen may look slightly different from what you see in this course. Typically, SAP components are accessible using a general front-end program called the SAP GUI, or Graphical User Interface. The SAP GUI is the standard program for accessing almost all SAP solutions. The SAP GUI program connects your computer with a specific SAP system. For starting SAP GUI, SAP provides a program called SAP Logon. When you are working with SAP, it is important to recognize the proper way to access and exit the system. Let us look at how this works with SAP GUI. You need to log on to the SAP system. You can do so by double-clicking the SAP Logon icon on your desktop. The system then opens the SAP Logon window. You then select the system to access and click Logon. To logging on to SAP, you need a username and password. She also knows that she has the option to select a logon language during the logon process. Since you are logging on for the first time, the system administrator gives you an initial password. During the process, you will be prompted to enter a new password, which can use for logging on in future. Menu bar. The menu bar is the top line of any primary window in the SAP system. The menus shown depend on which application you are using. These menus may also contain cascading menus. Standard toolbar. The standard toolbar is identical throughout the SAP system. All of the icons on the standard toolbar are shown on every SAP screen. However, the standard toolbar icons are active only if they are available for the current application. Unavailable icons will appear grayed out and cannot be used. Note that if SAP Balloon Help is enabled on your system, you can place the cursor over an icon and the system will display the name or function of that icon. If appropriate, the corresponding function key setting is also displayed. Title bar. The title bar names the function that you are currently using and helps you identify where you are in a procedure. Application toolbar. The application toolbar shows the icons available in the application that you are currently using. Different icons appear on the application toolbar depending on the application. Status bar. The status bar provides general information about the SAP system and the transaction or task you are working on. System messages are displayed in addition to server information and status information. When you have finished using the SAP system, it is important to log off from the system. Logging off ensures that is not unnecessarily using a session and also protects the company from the risks associated with leaving an open session unattended. The preferred method for logging off the SAP system is to use the log off icon. The system then displays a dialog box indicating that any unsaved data will be lost. The system then prompted to confirm that you want to log off. Click Yes to exit the SAP system. An SAP screen can contain the following screen elements. Command field. You can start applications directly by entering the transaction code in the command field. Menu bar. The menu bar is the top line of any primary window in the SAP system. The menu displayed depends on the application you are using. Standard toolbar. The buttons in the standard toolbar are shown on every SAP screen. Title bar. The title bar displays the name of the function that you are currently using. Application toolbar. The application toolbar shows the buttons available in the application you are currently using. Checkboxes. Checkboxes allow you to select several options from a group of fields. Radio buttons. Only one radio button option may be selected. Tab. A tab page allows you to organize several screen areas to improve clarity and organize data. Status bar. The status bar displays information on the current system status, such as warnings and errors. Other elements include input fields and buttons. User finds that the standard SAP tree is a tool for accessing the SAP transactions. The standard SAP tree displays a hierarchy of the menus available in the SAP system. Using the tree is one of the best ways to become familiar with the system. The elements of an SAP tree are the SAP menu icon, work areas, arrows, folders, and transactions. Navigation within the standard tree is referred to as menu path navigation. User navigates by clicking on the arrows to drill down through the folders to the desired transaction and can locate a variety of transactions by navigating in the SAP Easy Access menu. The standard transactions that are available include Create, Change, and Display. SAP offers two formats to display a menu of transactions, reports, or web-based applications to the user. SAP Standard Menu, a complete list of all possible transactions and reports offered by the system. Role-based User Menu are collections of activities used in business scenarios. Users can access transactions, reports, or web-based applications through their role-based menus. Users are assigned the role menu and the authorizations associated with the role. Authorizations control access to the specific activities required to perform the job function. The system administrator can tailor role-based menus to specific job requirements by adding or removing menu entries. User can use a session to create or change data while using another session to display data. H can also copy data between sessions. This is especially helpful when you are in the middle of a transaction and need to verify information in another transaction to complete the former. As you are working in SAP, you can see messages appear on the status bar of your window. The status bar provides information on the transaction or task on which you are working. It is important to understand what these messages mean and how you must respond to them. There are three types of status messages, as listed above. The following types of items can be launched from the Favorites folder: Transactions, Document files, Web addresses. If user is using the same SAP transaction codes many times during the day, he determines that it would be easier if he could access these transaction codes without following the standard tree menu path. He can make his work more efficient by creating favorites for his regular transactions. From the Favorites folder you can launch transactions, document files, and web addresses. SAP skills have continued to improve. There are several websites that he uses on a regular basis to do his job. He finds that he can create links to those websites and launch them directly from his Favorites folder on the SAP Easy Access screen. After accessing the website, he can return to the SAP system by closing his internet browser. The SAP system associates technical names with transactions. Every transaction or function in the system has a unique technical name referred to as a transaction code or T-code. Transaction codes can be used to provide a more direct route to launching transactions than navigating the standard SAP tree. The first step in working with transaction codes is learning which codes are used for the transactions you want to perform. In the SAP Easy Access screen, You can view transaction codes by setting the option to have the codes displayed on the SAP standard tree structure. Click Extras on the menu bar and select Settings from the drop-down list. This opens the Settings dialog box. Click Display Technical Names and then click Continue, Enter. The system will then collapse the SAP standard tree structure. As you navigate through the tree, you will see the transaction codes next to the transactions. Double-click on any transaction code or name to launch that transaction. Using transaction codes provides another option for navigating in the SAP system. You will find that by entering a transaction code in the command field to go directly to a transaction or function from the Easy Access screen. With this method, transactions can be accessed without navigating the SAP standard tree structure. The command field includes a command list that holds several of the transaction codes most recently accessed via the command field. This allows for those transactions to be easily accessed again at a later stage. To display this history, you will click on the command list. Click on a transaction code from the list and that code will populate in the command field. You can then click Enter to launch the transaction. If you were to enter a transaction code by itself in the command field on any screen other than the Easy Access screen, you would not be able to launch that transaction. However, if you enter a / along with the appropriate command and transaction code, you can launch transactions from other transaction screens. This is helpful because you can go directly from one transaction to another without having to return to the Easy Access screen. /n and /o are examples of / commands. You can either end a session and go directly to another transaction in a new session using /n. Start another transaction in an additional session in one step using /o. Using a / command without indicating a transaction code in the command field has additional functions. Entering /o in the command field and clicking Enter will show an overview of the sessions you currently have open. Entering /n in the command field and clicking Enter will end the current transaction.